In this lesson, we'll use dip pens and textures to draw this deer landscape. This is our photo reference. The format is square. I cut a piece of bristle smooth paper to 9 by 10 inches. Take measurements of your reference, like the X and Y axis, to position the subject on the page. Then, roughly estimate the proportions. Mark where the edges are with a short dash for the top of the antlers, top of the head, eyes, mouth, neck, and chest. Connect the marks by following the outer edges of the subject. A mule, deer, buck, let's call him Ezekiel. Continue to refer to Ezekiel and connect the marks. Note that the nose lines up with the legs and the chest sticks out from there. The next identifiable markers are the shoulders, knees, and haunches. Then estimate the distance between the markers to establish the proportions. Ezekiel has a surprisingly long body. Also, compare the negative space between the legs to estimate their placement. Go over the lines you want to keep, and now we can refine the drawing by adding some details. For the antlers, I'm again looking at the negative space to estimate the sizing and positioning. You can prevent excess graphite residue from building up on the inking surface by periodically using a kneaded eraser. Aim for a clean drawing. We're just capturing the main outlines and using very light pressure on the pencil. I'm using an HB lead so that this shows up on camera for you, but I recommend using an H lead whenever you're planning to ink using dip pens. We're not shading in pencil, just including a few directional strokes as guidelines for the inking stage. We can stylize the drawing later. The key thing is to have captured the recognizable features and proportions of a mule deer. For the landscape, I had explored with thumbnails beforehand, and I like the big sun to frame the head. Then place a horizon line so we can plan for depth and perspective from there, starting with the vegetation in the very foreground. That's why Ezekiel had no feet, if you were wondering. We're now building the environment in layers, front to back. At this point, the references are just for inspiration. I'd like to add a bird. We'll use this one for the pose. It will be a generic bird, so as not to steal attention from Ezekiel. I think we need some bigger plants in the very forefront here. The vegetation, the grasses, they get smaller and less detailed, traveling towards the horizon. We're definitely not going to spell out every detail. A few of the forefront grasses will have more definition, but the remainder will create with textures and values. Basically, organized scribbles. I'll use some of the value scales from last week's exercises. If you want to learn more about how to create texture charts, watch that video next. We'll begin the ink application with the face and move outwards from there. The idea is to lay down a mid-tone first and gradually develop the textures. For supplies, I'm using a Hunt 102 Croquill and Super Black India ink, both made by Speedball. You'll note that we're not starting with a solid outline. We're actually not going to use hard edges anywhere except for the sun, just gradually building the values with marks. The source of light is what's guiding our decisions. In the photo reference, the light seems to be coming from the left-hand side. We'll take our cues from that, where to leave open gaps for the highlights and where to place more marks for the areas of shadow. Essentially, we have a fur texture. Here's the pattern for the mid-tone. To make it lighter, use shorter marks placed further apart. For darker, increase the length of the marks, place them closer together in a locking pattern. For even darker, make the marks thicker. Avoid irregular spacing and random lengths or overlapping your textures. Any crosshatches we do will have a purpose. So dots and short dashes for the lighter tones, then gradually longer, thicker marks to make the area darker. We're building the form of Ezekiel's face, one stroke at a time. His nose is darkest, so we can do that now, including the reflections on the edges. We'll come back to adjust the values when more of the drawing is done. This is still our first pass. To give the antlers a wood-like texture, I'm using a linear gradation. A broken outline for the side closest to the light, and a bold outline for the side furthest from the light and in shadow. There's a cast shadow between the ears and the rack, and that's where our cross-hatching comes in. So the value is nearly black, it's not completely solid. That's why we use crosshatch here. Continuing with the fur texture around the tubular form of Ezekiel's neck, we're hatching in the same direction that the fur grows, making the tone of the texture denser on the shadow side. We need more grass in the front. And then we'll go ahead and repeat the fur pattern on the remainder of the body up to about midway towards the foreground. First, we'll sketch out the main highlights on the shoulder and hunches, and a few shadows as well. Dots and dashes for the highlights, then gradations from there. Remember to change the direction of the hatches to follow how the fur grows over the form, essentially where the bones protrude. At the halfway mark on Ezekiel, we switch to a bigger nib for the very foreground elements. This is a Hunt 512 bull nib. Closer to the viewer means thicker marks and more visible details, though it's still loose and sketchy as not to detract from the main subject. Then I'm quickly switching back to the finer croquill for the grasses tucked behind and underneath. We'll continue with the grasses that are the tallest and more defined. Essentially, they're still in the foreground, they're in front of the main subject. Next, we return to finish the bottom half of Ezekiel before we can complete the vegetation. Note that I'm going super dark here. It's a little daring. We could get away with just dark grays here, but the high contrast is more interesting, especially with the reflected light on the outer edges of the legs and underbelly. We'll go progressively lighter for the front legs, then round off the chest with dark again. We'll revisit the gradation around the underbelly when more of the drawing is complete, so we can balance the values against each other. For the vegetation, same formula. Dots and dashes for the lighter areas, longer and bolder strokes for the areas in shadow. Here, we're aiming to create some density where Ezekiel stands to make it look like the grasses are quite deep, and that's why we can't see his feet. I'm leaving white halos around the taller grasses that are on top so we can still see them, and adding tiny cast shadows wherever there's an overlap. These overlap shape shadows are actually pretty important for creating the illusion of depth, and we'll continue to add those as we develop the values. Let's layer in additional grasses on top of the front legs. The tone is lighter here. We'll come back to adjust the values. Let's continue with the background first, with the sun and the frame. I'm using fine liners for this part, leaving some open gaps in the frame for visual interest. Now extend the foreground and render the horizon line. varying the texture to look less uniform, more natural, with little circles, squiggles, and horizontal dashes. We'll darken the background here so we can see Ezekiel's tail, bumping up the contrast a bit there. And now revisiting the calf shadows. We can also address any transition areas to smooth out gradations. Then finish off with the sky with squiggly horizontal strokes. It's a good idea to add a few pencil guidelines to stay on track. I'm opting for a gradation, spreading the lines as we travel towards the horizon line. The diagonal squiggles are for visual interest, and as a nod to my favorite ink master Franklin Booth. The sky fades to white midpoint, then the gradation is reversed as it reaches the ground. Erase the remaining pencil marks, add your signature, and voila! I hope that you enjoyed our project of a deer landscape with pen and ink. If you did, give it a like, subscribe for more. Let me know what other subjects you'd like to draw in a future lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.